Beltalowda, welcoming good coping me. Well, hello, Belters. Welcome, my friends, to Darkwood's Productions, The Expanse Crew, a podcast for discussing Amazon Prime's fantastic series, The Expanse. I'm your host, Dr. Scott Jordan, aka Zombie Scotty, cognitive psychologist, philosopher from Illinois State University. Today, celebrating the season premiere of Claws with my zombie claws.
Oh,
I don't know if
it
you
looks
guys can
good.
see
Yes.
it.
Wow.
Black fingernail
They're
polish with
bloody.
blood.
Yes.
Yeah, there's a dead dog in my backyard. I had to do no, I'm just but I'll take a picture and I'll post it to the Sistah Speak group like I
That's
promised I would
awesome.
That's
the other day.
awesome.
Hey, I did this all by myself too. It's a mess.
That's what
I
you
mean-
meant by zombie claws. Okay.
Okay,
I already
well,
knew.
when
I
you
already
don't get
knew.
when you don't get the nail polish when it goes on your skin and stuff,
Yeah.
you know, you got to get the scraper on and everything.
Yes.
Okay.
Q-tips and nail polish remover is better.
Yes.
Yeah, I prepared for all of that. Anyway, Beltalowda, please introduce yourselves and say a little something about who you are, and we'll start with Leandra.
I am Leandra Parris. I'm a school psychologist. I work at William & Mary out in Virginia, and I specialize in educational equity and trauma-informed education.
Fantastic. And how about you, Sistah Kay?
I am Sistah Kay, aka Kelsey, and I am part of the Sistah Speak podcast and live in Dallas, Texas.
Fantastic. And how about you, Sistah Jay?
I'm Sistah Jay. I'm the other part of the Sistah Speak Productions. I am a retired lawyer and a crime fiction novelist.
Fantastic. So our format here is for each member of the crew to describe their favorite character, line, scene, or theme from the episode uninterrupted. And then we'll all discuss that point and move on to the next crew member when that conversation peters out. So the floor is open. Who would like to go first?
Okay, well, I'll go first.
That's
I
cool.
was
Go,
gonna
no, just go
wait.
ahead.
I had several scenes that I loved, but one of my absolute favorites was the scene with Avasarala and Monica Stewart in her chambers, and she was kind of giddy, grinny. I don't know. Avasarala usually doesn't laugh. You know, she's not really grinny. She doesn't smile a lot. But in that scene, you could tell she was very satisfied with her plan and everything had gone to plan. And she had just gotten done dressing down Monica Stewart for getting in her business. But then she had a question for her. Really, she had a demand for her, which was to show the human face of the war and let people understand that, especially the Marco Inaros people, understand that, you know, they're killing real people. It's not just arbitrary non-face people.
Right.
And when she told Monica, well, I don't want you to lie for me. I want you to show the true face of this war. And hopefully this will give them a little bit of pause before they try to launch any more rocks at Earth. And if you don't, then you can always just wonder if maybe that one rock could have been stopped by your story. And when Monica said, oh wow, you do the guilt trip really well. When Avasarala says, yes, I have a lot of practice when I'm alone. And that
In the dark.
line probably in the dark. But I just love that because it showed, and she wasn't smiling when she said it, and she was serious, and she had like a little twinkle, kind of like a tear, but maybe not a real tear for her in her eye, but just the gravity that I just love that actress, and I just love how she delivers her lines, and I love how she says things, and she looks straight. I don't know, it just seems like she's piercing into the person. She sees right through them to get to where she could really twist that little knife and get them to do what she needs them to do, but she's also telling the doggone truth about it too. So that was one of my favorite scenes.
Yeah, she always finds a way to make it personal. And in this case,
Yes.
she makes this reporter very guilty. I love how the reporter comes up, well, you just want me to do propaganda. And, you know, when I saw the scene, I was like, wait a minute, she is asking her to do propaganda because, you know, the Belters have faces, the Martians had faces,
Yeah.
right? So why is it that human faces, right? So I'm going to I'm gonna use the phrase wicked, right? There was a little bit of wickedness to her satisfaction there, right?
Mhm.
It was like, ha ha ha, it all worked out. And now I need you to make it work out better by humanizing it. And I'm not saying it's right or wrong. I just love the fact that's what she does.
I love that too.
That scene to me was a prime example of a manipulative politician.
Mm.
That's what it was to me. I don't think she felt any sympathy. I didn't see anything remotely like a tear forming anywhere to her.
Right.
And she was, in my opinion, in control and in command every single second. And I don't believe for a moment when she says, well, I think I have practiced with this when I'm alone. No, she's a smooth politician. That's what that was, in my opinion.
She's just rubbing it in.
Yeah.
I think
Right.
she does
There are
feel-
times when she does experience guilt. I mean, we've seen her have doubt and really question what she's doing. I mean, she stands up and says, I'm not going to let you kill innocent children at one point, although that does seem to work out for her. So whether she meant for that to I don't really know. But, you know, like, this is one time where I'm like, man, let the politician get away with it. Because it's the truth. Like, it is a story that has to be told. And, you know, sometimes I don't like the way they do it, but they're not wrong. She's not wrong, right? Like, the
I
story
love it.
has to be told. I do think she's riding high a little bit, and I'm a little worried that's gonna come back. And
Yeah, I mean, it was a glorious episode. It was a good day for the people we might call the good guys, right? But you're absolutely right. She's got a constituency. It's the people of Earth, and she's using all of her power for her constituency. And I'm sorry, but that's who you want to hire, man. I mean, if you don't want people hurling rocks at your planet. So she's gonna find out a way. How about you, Sistah Jay? Favorite line, character, scene, theme?
I think, well, my favorite line is different from my favorite scene. My favorite character in this whole episode was the Rocinante, and the way they filmed that chase was just awesome.
It was.
And especially when the Rocinante actually captures the ship, so Bobby can jump, and they're like going side by side. Like, it was just awesome. I love science fiction anyway, so that to me was, I played that over and over. It was very well done, I thought, and especially where, when they first started, he had to chase it, and everybody fell over but Bobby, because she had her suit on. The whole thing was just really good. But my favorite line in the whole show was Drummer, when she's getting ready to hand off her little family member, and she turns to her lieutenant and says, if anybody gets past us, kill them all.
Kill them all.
To me, that was just so profound, because she is entrusting this person with her family member who she really loves.
Yeah.
However, if he takes one step over this boundary that I have in my mind, kill them all.
Kill them all. No,
yeah.
She
is badass. I love Kamina, though. I like Drummer
in all the right ways. I mean, I'll talk to her. I'll talk about her later. She was my favorite character in my favorite scene. But your comments about the Rocinante, right? I mean, it's like they're driving on snow, right? Because your acceleration has to take into account the drift, and all of that is in what they did visually. And it was just like, no wonder they got to inject themselves with whatever it is to prevent,
And like somebody else pointed out online, it was like, the amazing part is as they're traveling, whatever velocity they're traveling at, he had to match that Azure Dragon ship. That was awesome. I mean, we all know it's CGI and everything, but that was really, really good.
And avoid their exhaust.
I loved it. It was really good.
I remember, so I had not watched it yet, Scott, when you were like, oh, this was so good. And like, I just assumed that scene must have been what you were talking about. And I will admit, like, I can remember, like, I've always been into sci-fi, but like the first time I ever watched sci-fi and was like, oh shit, was Battlestar Galactica, and like the way they
Yes.
would do, and that was so reminiscent of like the really amazing like Cylon battles.
Yes, it
And,
was.
like,
Come to think of it.
anyway, I don't know if that's how things work in space. My husband says it's not how things work in space. I don't give a crap. All you listeners are like, you can't hear things in space. That's not how things. I don't care. It looked beautiful. They looked like they were swimming. That's what I thought.
Yes.
No, I thought swimming, like just like you could even like feel the whole like, now we're turning. Can we turn fast enough? Can we drift fast enough? So like,
Yeah.
I don't know. I just, that whole thing really brought me back to what it feels like when you first see really good sci-fi stuff go down. Right?
Yes.
Battlestar
Mhm.
Galactica was one. Rogue One was another one when the ship like barrels
Mhm.
into the sphere. Like, I don't know. I wasn't old enough to see Star Wars in theaters. I imagine this must have been what it was like to see
It
really
was
good
great.
sci-fi come to life. And so I have to say that was honestly my favorite scene as well. Just the old style shooting. It wasn't missiles all the time. It was just,
Right.
it was good. Good
It was
stuff.
a fantastic chase, man.
It
And
was.
I had to watch it twice because you got to keep track of which ship is doing what
Exactly.
when. And then you sign, okay, now they're alongside each other, and you could tell the other one was trying to maneuver away. Can you
Yeah.
imagine just being whoever it was that basically programmed all of that into a computer? Because that's what they,
Yes.
you know,
Right.
and all those equations. I just think that's so cool that they captured all that mathematically and then threw it out there. And I'm going like, what, watch it again, what?
That is a scene you have to roll back and watch it more than one time because it was beautiful. But yeah, I know exactly, Leandra, what you're talking about with the science fiction, how it makes you feel when you first see these authentic, as you say, not always shooting guns and missiles and stuff, you know. I loved it. That was my fave.
I love this show and the idea of the rail guns, right? And then you see all these tracer rounds, and you're just doing all these crazy spins, and it's like, wait a minute, that's terrestrial battle. That's not outer space, man. What? No, you get that close, man. It's that close, right? Oh,
I love that scene too for the fact of the internal battle they had because Holden was like, "Let's shoot him." Let's knock him down. And Bobby was like, no, we have a plan. Just get me up there. I'll handle it.
Yeah.
Well, I'm the one in charge of this mission. You're the captain, but I'm in charge of this mission. So no, go ahead and get me on up here. He was really struggling with that.
Yeah.
And Naomi, like, these are the people I used to fight with. These were my people. And now you're haphazardly gunning them down. Like, I think you're right. I think that internal struggle is. Like, can you imagine being a person getting gunned down by them in this point? You just like can't shake them. I do wish we had seen a little bit of the other side, like what they must have felt like when they just could not shake.
Yeah,
right.
That would have been interesting. Yeah, to see who was on the Azure Dragon.
We saw we saw one little piece of that.
Yeah, exactly. I'm a little surprised they didn't have Bobby come in with a total warning order. For example, do not destroy. You would say that ahead of time, right? You wouldn't wait till the moment of trigger pull
she did
to say
it.
Do not destroy.
She did tell him
briefing,
the mission has changed. We're now going to capture and because we want the data, from it.
You are correct.
She did say that.
And then she had to pull rank on him, temporary rank as it was.
She was like, "Oh, let's just go. They running. Let's go ahead and shoot him." I'm like, "Ooh, okay."
I know. She had to pull rank though. She had to do that because she has to answer to Christian.
Yeah, and I'm going to tell her no.
Well, wait, but she was already telling Big Amos, calling him Pee Wee and stuff.
Right.
Oh, she had me dying.
I love
she
that.
had me dying when he was talking about, well, how you going to do that? She said, oh, don't worry your pretty little head. I'm thinking, she ain't said that to Amos.
Yeah.
I loved it. I loved it.
So you loved it. I thought it was a little inflated in the writing. I'm just saying.
No.
I just thought it was a little inflated.
No.
And I love Amos. You know I do, but I loved it.
Well, my point is that they used our appreciation of him as a way to make her seem bolder by her trivializing him. Mm-hmm. And I don't remember if they met before. Had they met before?
Oh yeah.
Okay. Well, okay. Then it's completely different. Then he knows it's a joke. You know what I'm saying?
I mean, if you notice, Amos did not get offended. He just looked at her like,
Well,
But I
would
think
she
it
kept
was
it?
I think she did it on purpose because Amos was obviously belligerent. He wasn't his well, actually none of the crew is like she's used to.
Right.
She
Yeah.
mentioned that. So they're
Yeah.
all tense. They're all not acting like themselves. And this is what we said last week, or I said last week about Amos was in the first episode. He's like, oh, well, I guess
Excuse
I'll
me.
go outside and do what I need to do. He wasn't his
Right.
normal, I'm just going to go do it. When he
I
made that
love it.
comment about, well, us, going to try to capture the ship is going to be a lot more difficult than da 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 da. And when she said that, don't worry your pretty little head, I'm sure she was thinking, well, okay, this is a totally different Amos. He would have been like, okay, yeah. When are we
Yeah.
going? What time? Who am I going to be able to
Absolutely.
kill? And I
Yeah.
think she was trying to kind of goad him
Get him back
into
up. Yeah.
his
But
normal
see-
self, but it didn't, it didn't work. He just
But
stood there.
don't
like,
y'all
"Mm,
have
okay."
that? Don't y'all have the idea that, in my opinion, Naomi is the catalyst that has changed everyone's point of view and everyone's attitude? Because she
And-
is so funky, in my opinion,
So I'm going to agree that it's
Without
Naomi. I also think they're in
telling
kind of a,
people.
I think
And
they're in kind of a post-COVID state. I mean, and
She's got
Leandra,
PTSD.
last time, Leandra, you mentioned the speech by Christian as sort of speaking directly to us. I think their behavior speaks directly to us right now. I
Mhm.
am not precisely who I was come spring of 20, right? I'm a little, my fuse is a little shorter, my tolerance is a little, a little more, just a little. I'm just saying there's a little rough around the edges for everyone. And the fatigue, particularly
Yeah.
right now, y'all. I'm going to get into it, but damn, it's like really. And I kind of think they feel that way. And they're showing us,
True.
Amos being straight up belligerent with Holden,
Yeah.
right? And then with Bobby, when he says, was it Holden who said, wait a minute, who introduced Bobby to Peaches? Who said she's on the crew?
Amos.
Oh yeah, we got another
Amos.
crew member, and Holden basically reasserted
Amos.
his control of the ship and said she's a crew member, and that's kind of that. So, but yeah, they're struggling, man. They're ragged, and they're doing a good job of looking ragged.
Well, and plus
They do.
they did lose Alex, so
yeah,
they still have feelings about that as well. But to me, Naomi just sucks all the air out the
Oh,
room
come
wherever
on.
I mean,
she
you guys don't know
goes.
someone like that right now, though, like someone who's just like not able to, and like they've been at this for, in the last episode, it was 187 days of constant running.
187. Mhm.
Even Adam was like, is Holden meant to look so like emaciated? And I'm like, yes, like
Yeah.
they've been at this for
Yes.
so long.
Yeah.
he's
And I remember
lethargic.
It's
slower,
a really good point you brought up too about like the fuse point, because I was telling someone that I am just low key irate all the time. And they were like, low key irate doesn't exist. And I'm like, no,
Oh,
it
yes,
does.
Yes,
it
it
does.
does.
Oh, yes,
It does
does.
exist.
Oh my
And I feel
gosh,
like
y'all.
I've been
all
like
of
that.
them are low key irate and they have nowhere to put it. They're helpless. Like they're just
Yeah.
running and running and running. And so I think that I do agree that Naomi sucks the air out of the room, but that's because she's struggling to breathe. She's just
Mhm.
struggling to get through it.
And the
And
phrase low key irate actually.
So you
gives-
low key irate.
gives
all
me-
the time, all
What?
the time.
See, bye to
gives-
me.
It gives me another justification for wearing my Hulk mask every day. People say, "Oh, I like your Hulk mask." I said, "Yeah, I'm a doctor and I'm pissed." Okay, and I wear the mask every day, and I had to say it, but I am.
Oh my gosh.
We could have done better. I ain't got to say no more. We could have done better. We haven't. And now I'm
Okay.
still stuck with this thing every day. So leave it at that.
But
Little
so are
fr-
they. They could
What's-
have done better. Like they could have done better with the powder molecule. They could have done. I think they're
Yeah.
exactly the
Yeah.
same space that we
Yeah.
all are.
Drummer could
Good
have killed
point.
Marco.
Good point. Good point.
Yes.
Yeah.
She could-
Yes, they
Yeah.
could have done better, and now they are running.
Good
Yep.
point. Yep.
And they're
And no one could have done better but Naomi. And you know that, Sister Jay, like she could have done better.
Yeah, she could have. You're
low
right.
key
I mean,
irate.
You're
There you
right.
go. All right. How about you, Leandra? Favorite line, favorite scene, favorite
Oh, no.
character?
Okay, so this is gonna be because I loved Peaches in this one, and I kind of forgot she existed. I'm not gonna lie. I just, I was like, who is this woman? Like, okay, but I love the way she steps in for Naomi and just pulls it through, and it's just like,
Yeah.
nope, she's got technical issue. She's not trying to throw anyone under the bus. Holden tells her, I need you to go to your room and stay there for a while. She doesn't question it. She knows that he's the captain. She knows that he has her back, or at least she thinks he does. And then the way she reacts when Holden comes in and kind of dresses her down a little bit, and she's actually happy because he's treating her the way he would all of his other crew. And I love that because I love watching families form like that, you know, and that was a really wonderful moment of showing that like we can heal and we have each other, and like you can get better and this can go somewhere. There's hope. And I saw that really play out in her character, not only because it is a shift from who she was last time I saw her, however many months ago it was that I watched that episode, you know, in terms of just like stepping in and easing things through and saving people's life, and then making fun of herself for almost dying on her own vomit, and then crying because Holden dresses her down and is like, you got to do better. And she's like, yeah, you could do better, you know. So I think yeah, I think that was just a really good moment. And I think in the episode it was just drowning in helplessness. That was a really great spark of light.
And that whole scene was just so rich. I mean, you're right. She's experiencing being chewed out completely differently than Amos. And he says, you do realize you just got chewed out, right? And she's having a different reaction that we all come to understand. We're all looking at Amos as like, dude, when did you become a healer? Right? We're you know, you're growing now. And what's Holden doing? He's coming, doing the same old job. And what do they do when he leaves? They kind of laugh at him, right? I mean, look, I know that when I go into my job these days,
oh Lord,
and I try to do the or this, or that, I know everybody's like, he's trying hard, yo, but then, and they don't laugh in my face. But
yeah,
yes, we're all ragged, man. And we try to project these images as a function of our role, pretending we're moving in the same space, and we're just not. And everybody was there with their own space. And what I love about a show like this, man, is we know what they're feeling because we've watched all of it up until now. I just love those kind of payoffs, right? And it's just because if you didn't watch the show, you're like, okay, she got chewed up.
Exactly.
Yeah,
whatever.
Exactly.
But those payoffs are just the best.
I thought it was really good, the whole progression of her relationship with the crew, but especially with Holden. And that is, he starts out, we see from the very beginning of the show, he obviously cares about her because he warns her, there's some UN people coming over, go to your room. And that's why she did not hesitate at all, because he said they're not here for you. Remember?
Yep.
Yeah.
So he warned her from jump.
I was really shocked at what he said first. He said peaches. He called her peaches.
He called her peaches.
He never does that.
Yes,
Nobody ever does
but that's
that.
what I'm saying. That they showing that whole
her
progression.
face when she answered the call was like, Holden?
Exactly.
You're calling me peaches?
But I would like to point out that I did like that scene too, Leandra, but the best part of that whole scene, in my opinion, was when Holden says,
yes.
Amos, I need to talk to Peaches. He said, yeah, okay, go ahead.
Go ahead.
And he just sat there.
Uh-huh. And Holden and Clarissa were looking at him like, okay.
And Holden was looking at him, you know, with this facial expression like, I'm in private. Amos wasn't having it. He just
Amos said what he said. He's like, go ahead.
I know, but no, Holden looked at Amos for a quick minute before he started talking, when he realized Amos wasn't getting up.
And there's no point in fighting it. There's
no fighting.
So good.
Like, I just want to look at Amos, you don't got to protect her for me. Like, we've all figured out, like, she's good, but like Amos wasn't moving. That was great.
He was not moving. I loved it too. Yeah.
I
thought that was so good.
I love that everybody did what they had to do. Amos has to let Holden know, no, this is not the same. And I am not going to be the same. And Holden says, okay, you are free to be different, but given that I'm leaned on to be the captain, I have to do my role. So Holden doesn't lose his mind when Amos is belligerent. He just kind of looks and says, okay, wait till we're in private, buddy. I ain't doing it now. You know, but I mean, Holden knows the role of being a leader. You don't ever humiliate anybody publicly.
Right.
You know, you keep it later. And I gotta say, the writing here is
very
kind of
good.
A masterclass.
I have a question though that I wanted to ask y'all, and that is, I was not clear as to why or how, and well, not how, but why Peaches threw up in her helmet. Did she get hit by something, or she mentioned something about her using her mods was just like a reflex? So I guess if she suited up and she uses her modifications, it causes her to throw up.
No.
I wasn't clear about that.
If you remember when she first was on the scene, whatever season that was, and she was
on the way to Baltimore.
On the way, yeah, and she was putting that bomb in that case, and she had that really nice mechanic guy that was her mentor, and she really liked him, and she was like, you need to go, and she has these modifications in her mouth that she just click like on her tooth, and it puts this adrenaline in her body, and she can then become this fierce fighter and kill people at the drop of a hat, but she always gets sick afterwards.
Yeah.
And she talked about how she would pass out.
I had forgotten
she would
about
throw
that.
up, she would pass out, and she wouldn't be good for like an hour or two after that happened.
You're right.
That was just
I forgot about that.
Yeah, so if you're going to use your mods, don't do it in space, man.
In space with your
Gotcha. Yeah, okay. Yeah. And you know what? Until Sistah Kay mentioned that, I had forgotten about that. So, okay. Because I kept wondering, I thought, okay, what did I miss? Okay.
Well, that scene happened so fast. And I just
was really quick.
I had to watch that multiple times.
Exactly. Because you see this.
But I still didn't get it after watching it.
No. You see the strip of metal rip up on the hull.
Yes.
And then you see, but that's the thing about those mods. That's how fast they're supposed to work, right?
Okay.
Because you see then a scene of her up next to the dude who's dead now.
Yeah.
And he was the one who was shooting something I never saw.
Yeah.
And someone else explained later, yeah, that suit would have killed Bobby if she hadn't done it. And,
Okay. Yeah. All right. Yeah, but yeah, I had forgotten about her reaction to the mods. Yeah.
No,
she
I
would
love
get
it.
sick.
Because that's a mission where the original orders wouldn't have worked, but the way it worked out worked.
Yeah.
Right. I mean, Naomi's whole freezing up. I mean, if Naomi hadn't frozen up, she would have been on this hull of the ship. She would have seen what she needed to pull, but she wouldn't have been able to go berserk and kill that guy. Bobby would have died, right?
Right.
So all these,
go ahead.
But
Naomi probably would have disabled it sooner. So therefore, maybe the guy wouldn't have got out because Holden and Amos would have been there breaching.
There you go.
See?
Yeah, love it.
I think the first theory would be better because I think you're right. If Naomi would have been there, there's no way that they could have gotten to that third guy quick enough.
No, everything happens at the intersection of choice and chance, right?
Yeah,
you just never know how it's going to play out. And every time something happens in the show, I just believe it. Okay, cool. Yeah, I get it. And, the scene where they have, you guys were talking about this scene with Bobby Durban, the Azure Dragon has been stopped, and I think they show Amos and Draper in the hold with the door open, and then it just backs off and it's like, oh my God, they got to do all that out in space.
Yeah.
I mean, it was just, I suddenly feel, oh damn, she's going to jump out into that.
That was so good. And I kept thinking, oh, wait a minute. Now we saw Naomi jump out of the one place and just like float around, but it didn't look like to me, even with her suit, that she would be able to like get down on that ship. That was really good.
Well, that suit Bobby had, it's special and it's
that's
heavy.
True. I mean, it is.
She's got special stuff in that suit that the other ones can't do with their little spacesuit, whatever they call their little spacesuit.
Yeah.
She's the Marine, so
I
thought that was really cool. I love seeing her float down, and
I loved how she was, she comes in giving Amos crap. At the same time, she's more than welcome to say, she's more than ready to say, Peaches saved my life. She doesn't wait. She just gets the gig and
and also not only that, when that happened, she Bobby immediately changed what she was supposed to do next.
Yeah.
She was supposed to help breach too. She's like, no, I gotta get her back to the Rocinante because she's hurt. Something wrong with her.
She did.
This is an exercise in good organizational dynamics. This is what I'm saying.
but not only that, when Holden had to dress her down and say when she complained about Clarissa, And Holden said, look, is my Amos trusts her. I trust Amos. I'm the captain. This is how it's gonna be done. And I like Bobby because she's okay, yeah. And then she says,
Yes.
I'm gonna go get some chow. And then Holden says, hey, by the way, he shows her that little video of the barkeep getting ate up with some red fire or whatever. And then he asks her for information. And she just immediately says, yeah, I can make that happen. And goes on. I like her whole attitude though, because she doesn't seem to be ego driven like many of the others are. She just, I got a job. This is the job. There you go.
And she sees her role in the bigger picture.
Yeah.
And when it comes to this particular mission of getting that data out of the Azure Dragon, she's in charge. But the rest of it, Holden, you can have the rest. And I really dig on that.
Yeah.
So guys, my favorite line is, I think you should drop him in a recycling tank for a few hours to see if he can swim.
Yes.
You would like the violent one, right?
No,
I love that character. Oh my God. I love what she forces out of Marco.
What is her name? How do you say her name?
It's Rosen.
It's
Rosenfeld.
Okay. Is that what her name is?
Goulion or something like that.
Something. I couldn't pronounce it. I was like, okay. But yeah.
I absolutely love because she says something like, we need to talk about Philip. and Marco says, you're new to this ship. What you say next, you need to be careful. I think we need to throw. I just love, what I love about that is it reveals the intelligence of both of them, right? Because she pushes back. So it goes against the grain of what a fearful person would have said, but he knows that's precisely the level of intelligence he needs. So they just keep going with it. And that whole conversation there, that's why I wrote, this is the tight script, because the conversations were just, no one was saying what they meant, but they were saying what they meant with different with different things. Yeah. And man, there's this dude that they tried to drop Michio off to. What's his name?
His name was Lang Walker.
Oh my God. The guy
walks in.
He just walks in for 5 minutes and it's pure gold. I mean, and the conversation that he and the drummer have is just the best. So I'm gonna just say a little bit about it, where she says, if they try to move past us, kill them all. And then Lang says, Kamina drummer on the legendary Tinin, do we have time for a tour? Not now. Oh. And then he looks at the Michio and he says, this is the cargo. And she says, Michio says, yeah. And he looks at the price and he says, that's less than we agreed. And she says, my accounts have become more difficult to access.
Like the way she said that too.
Yeah.
You'll have to get the rest of my word. And he says, we have a problem. The Free Navy has taken over security on Ganymede. They're setting checkpoints all over the station and the docks. Cargo won't be safe there. You're Free Navy. You can't get there through. I'm Golden Bow. Golden Bow is Free Navy. And then he tells her, well, we're just doing we're just delivering stuff to these supply depots. He knows exactly what he's saying.
Of course he does.
And the rest of the conversation is how these two pirates are going to find a way to steal America. And it's just glorious. It's just good. Glorious. And
it's good.
And they end up with both of them praising, I forget his name now. Ashford for being a real pirate. And then the scene ends with them saying, like a real pirate. Right?
I know. You know they're gonna go rob.
It's just poetry, man.
I love Drummer. I love her so much.
I do too.
I love how she talks. I love how she just pauses and says, what you delivering? And she says, oh, I guess we have time for a tour after all. Like, oh, okay. Let's switch this around a little bit. I just love that whole, you're right. That scene was so good.
It was so good.
And we know her, right? We've seen her on screen probably for 30 hours. And this guy we've never seen before, yet within 15, 20 lines, he's got total presence.
Oh, yeah.
he knows we know, she knows she's in the presence of a co-conspirator. They're taking Marcos down. That's all there is to it.
Well,
I just love that writing.
right. Even I liked it even at the very beginning when she first talks to him, and she establishes that this Golden Bow group has joined Marcos, and he say, yeah, but you know, I intimidate him sexually, and her little henchman behind who
Right.
just got orders to shoot them all if they move. He's trying to stifle this grin, you know. Oh, it was funny.
That's
And
how
to
smart
me,
people do it.
yeah, and to
Yes.
me, that just established how he and Drummer were going to get along.
I think you're absolutely right, because when you break the ice that way,
Yeah.
that's a wink, wink, nudge, nudge for the rest
It
of the
is.
conversation, right?
I mean,
And-
because after all, Drummer has a bounty on her head.
yeah,
Everybody on the Tynan with her has a bounty on their head, and so she's taking a chance with this guy who, as far as she knew before they had the tour and the conversation, he is in league with Marcos.
yeah.
But she's because he's a transport as opposed to, you know, a fighter. She's hoping that, you know, she could send her family member over there to her. At least she'd be safer with him doing transport than her, because she's gonna go fight.
I love it.
Still don't
Every sentence is an invitation, and they're just trying to work where they can have plausible deniability at any point. No, that's not what I meant. What are you talking about? I'm not a traitor. And then that conversation that Drummer has on the ship when they're trying to decide whether or not to connect to dock with the ship, right? And the guy says, the animazis in our scopes, missile racks, bow and stern full loads. And she says there's a war on. They're where they said they would be. We have to infer what all that means. You know, they're not telling us what that means. And we should arm our torpedoes. And she says all three of them.
I know. They need to go rob some people quick, because they need some supplies.
Just as a watcher, man, who's committed so much time, for the writers to know what I know and play me that way is just exceptional entertainment. And she does it, man. Anyway, so for me, the script was almost my favorite character, because I just loved the banter that we have to have done 40, 50 hours of work to do to get.
The dialogue is really good
Yeah.
between the characters. I mean, it's really good.
Okay, so
I
we've
still
all
don't
had our.
understand
Go
her-
ahead.
I still don't understand her wanting to drop Michio off, though.
Because
I
she doesn't
don't-
want her to fight.
I get
She can be a
that.
baker.
She can just be in the back. Just have her be in the back, and she still be with y'all. And all those puppy dog looks that she was given, and you could see Drummer and the other guy, whatever. I don't know who the other guy was. her
Yeah,
Right.
other
I don't know.
husband. He was looking at Michio. Michio was looking at him, and as soon as she would look at him, he would look away. It's like he can't stand looking at her little puppy dog eyes.
Well,
And I'm
I
like,
think
why would you trust anybody to take her anywhere?
There are beds that need to be made, laundry that needs to be done.
Thank you, Leandra.
I'm just saying.
Thank you. Yes, you know.
Yeah.
Shit to be clean, muscles. I was gonna say muscles to be washed. I meant missiles, but either way.
yeah.
If I had to
Something.
guess, I would think that the writers are trying to show us the depth at which Drummer really believes she's going to be attacked. She really believes that
and
she's
killed.
in danger.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah.
So she's
Because
like,
she is a fighter. I mean, she's a
Yeah.
fighter. She has a reputation amongst the Belters too as a fighter.
Yeah.
That was established
Exactly.
in season 5. So, you know, yeah, that's probably why, because she doesn't want her to be killed along with them, maybe.
But she's seen that Marcos will kill her crew because he put the one guy in the airlock. So what does she think is going to
Yeah.
happen to her if she gets caught?
Well,
Thank you.
Like,
That's
how
what
is
I'm
she
thinking.
that
But she
much
doesn't.
safer?
She doesn't think she's gonna get caught.
No,
Though.
you know, thinking is like.
I know.
I'm
I
with
know.
you.
I mean, you're
I'm
absolutely
here with
right.
you.
You've identified the exact dilemma she has. Where is this girl safest?
Yeah.
Right? Where's this woman safest? And she doesn't feel that
With
she's
her.
safest with them. But
Mhm.
I don't think she feels that. At least I think that's what they're writing. Otherwise, I think
Mhm.
they would say that she should be with him. Okay, I got a quick question for y'all. Okay, so the big puppy dog, right? We finally see it walk. It walks away with that girl's dead bird.
Of course it
You know
does. It's
what?
an animal.
Okay,
Why are people freaking out about
wait a
that?
that whole Laconia planet, I think the reason, the only reason we even see it is because it's probably going to be a setup for like a spin-off movie or something. That's what I think,
Mm.
because it's obvious. When the parents said they had a meeting that they had to go to, and
So-
all the settlers had to go. Okay, that's that. You know, those M-class Martian ships, that there was like several of them that went missing, and we know, of course, they had that one of them had that proto molecule and went to, well, we now know that Laconia planet. That's
Right.
who those people are.
Right.
And we
That's
know
who
they're the
those
ones
people
that are supplying resources, because Marco says something about the resources they're getting from Laconia. I'm
Yep.
just saying, I don't know why she's surprised that an animal walked off with a dead bird.
with a dead bird.
It's hungry.
Why'd she open the damn thing up when she wasn't done
Yeah, done digging.
digging?
And why she
I
got
thought-
to dig with her back to the thing?
I thought that thing was gonna jump her. That's what I thought.
That's what
'Cause
I
when
said.
she
I said,
turned around to
first
dig,
of all, I would
that
have.
thing rose up behind her, and I was like, "Oh shit!" See, and I
No.
was getting mad.
I
Sorry-
was
sorry about
mad
that.
because I thought to myself, you parents need to provide
Thank you.
more
That's what
supervision
I
than
was about
this.
to say. I was
Oh,
getting
I
angry.
was too through. I thought to myself, see that little girl done went and got a drone and some
Tore
little
up the damn
paper.
drone.
Yeah, and went on out. Wasn't it getting dark? Wasn't it getting late?
It
Yeah.
always looks dark there.
And
though.
left her brother alone. Like they don't
Left
have
her
to
brother
play on that
alone.
plane. I'm just saying, she's learning about the circle of life, and if she hasn't figured it out by now, I don't know what this is. Like,
Sometimes the
Bye.
circle ends with you.
Okay. I'm with
Yeah,
you.
because she fed that thing her
No.
protein bar.
Yeah, she
you
killed
did.
it.
And
Don't
it
mess
killed
with
it.
nature.
I
And
think
was
we
gonna
are
say, why did
being-
she learn her lesson? Stop messing with nature. Let it do its thing.
No, they
Man,
need
I
to
think-
put
Bring it
one
back.
out there. That she believe me, she next. It's gonna
She-
eat that dead bird and it's gonna say, "Ooh, that's tasty," but I want something live.
Well,
And she
look, we are
next.
being so played because that thing looks like the creature from the movie Splice. I don't know if you guys
Oh
remember
my gosh.
with
Yes,
Andrew
it
Brodeen,
does.
right? And
Yes.
also, and then
Disgusting
all
that you
this
bring that
stuff
up.
where it's we don't, of course the big tails come, or, you know, we don't know.
And
they're
that thing
doing-
had two tails or
Oh,
two
Yeah,
snap. I
flaps.
It
tell
had
you what,
two.
but they're playing us well, man. I got to say, because I'm thinking, what?
Oh,
You're
no.
not going to show this kid get chopped?
I'm not being played. It's gonna eat somebody.
This is the
I
other
just-
side of
No,
sci-fi.
it's gonna eat. It might not eat
Yeah,
this
the
little
other
girl,
side of sci-fi.
but guess what? If it don't eat her, it's gonna eat the little boy.
It is.
It's eating somebody.
Oh.
You already
No,
know.
something's gonna happen to that little boy, and he's gonna be unconscious, and the thing's gonna think it's dead and good to go. And
Oh my God.
she's gonna learn another lesson about messing around with nature.
We're going to have to have a PTA meeting.
They don't teach that to them in school. Like, we're terraforming new life. Let's not with it. I mean,
Okay.
4713. Let me write that down.
but-
But you're right, though. You're right. You're right.
Woo!
See, I watched that scene over like 2 episodes, and the only plot movement we get out of that scene is that the drone died.
Yeah.
There's no
Yeah.
explanation for why the drone died.
Now you know that doggy thing is gonna come back for them babies, because them babies are still flopping.
Well, I'm surprised it didn't eat him before she got back.
Why does it care about that little
Brian.
girl? Just knock her out of the way and eat up. I mean, I don't. So
okay, for the drone, it was user error. Okay. I'm gonna-
Yeah.
you think so?
Yeah.
I honestly don't know.
No, I think there's a
something
plot
hit it.
device there. I
Yeah.
I
think
do
there's
think
something.
something's going on because it zoomed out to
Yeah.
the ship in orbit. Like, I think
Yeah.
that this is them coming down hard on whatever the terraformers, whatever you want to call them.
Yeah.
Right.
Mhm.
And then they did say that the military wants to have a meeting,
Yeah.
right? So it's kind of a
Yes,
martial
yes.
law state.
Yes.
And the protomolecule is being managed by whoever,
Whoever.
and these people are just guinea
Yeah.
pigs, as they were, in other parts of the series. But I hope that we don't see this little girl get eaten. I just
I'm
what
you
I
know
want.
that's what everybody
I'm
thinks.
starting to
so.
get angry though, because that these parents ought to know this is a new planet. Like the mom said, excuse me, we can't grow stuff here. We have to have our own. Sorry, Scotty. We have our own food. So obviously you need to be careful with your children.
Yes.
And then
maybe
you
there's
let
too
them
many of
just
them. Maybe you
run
could,
willy-nilly through the woods.
Yeah.
And I started thinking last episode or this episode when she brought it in, don't they need to have some kind of decontamination chamber first? Because who knows what she's bringing into their little habitat.
Totally.
I think that is the last thing on their mind. Look,
Yeah.
Next Julie Mao, she's gonna become something.
Yeah.
Something.
Right. You're right.
You know what?
You're
Yeah.
right.
Yeah. You're right. You're right.
I believe
That's
that.
probably what's going to happen.
Yep.
It just better not go alien and start impregnating people with alien.
Gosh.
Blah. But that ship went through the ring and all that red stuff. We have no idea what that means. We could be a fantastic fuel source.
I feel like they got disintegrated because
they got dissipated because from the inside of the ship, it showed all their little molecules getting red and like dispersing.
Yeah.
So I think they did.
I don't know. That's what happens when you teleport in Star Trek too. When you come back.
Only if you're wearing a red shirt, right?
Yeah.
Don't get me started on Trek.
By the way, at one of the last cons I was at, I bought a red Star Trek uniform shirt. Oh God, I wear it at special meetings with my coat over it, so no one sees it unless I need to reveal. Yeah, I knew when I said that.
Omicron's coming for you.
Oh,
that's gonna go down.
Damn.
I'm joking.
No, it's all good. It's all good. So look, we've all had a chance. Favorite line, favorite scene, favorite character. Anything that you think we've missed that you'd like to talk about?
Yeah,
I want to talk about how
Philip.
Yeah, what they gonna do with the Philip? They need to go on and let him go out of airlock or something.
Let me say this. I will say, our Marcos is supposed to be, he is the evil villain, but I really liked all of Marcos's scenes in this episode. I liked his reactions to Philip when he got to the jail. And I liked all of that conversation he had with him. Like, look, what else you want me to do? You want me to punish you even further? Because you've been acting an ass since we got here.
No, he said, your embarrassment should be punishment enough.
Right.
Yeah.
And, even him talking to Rosenfeld or whatever her name is about he loves him. He needs him to be the man he knows he can be. And of course, Rosenfeld's in there like, oh, that ain't going to happen. Yeah. She's like, you can just see it in her face. She looked at him like,
yeah.
Dude, you've been babying this boy forever. He is not gonna be the man you want because he ain't learned nothing. He ain't never learned nothing. You need to whip his butt or throw him in the tank. He's not gonna
learn it. He didn't learn this either.
No, he didn't learn nothing this time neither.
I tell you
but
what,
I did like all of Marco's conversation. I did love all of Marco's conversation and his reaction to that because I thought that was real.
Man, the way she slow rolled Marco in that whole conversation, because what she was trying to say the whole time is his kid has got to go.
Got to go.
Right? And she was just slow rolling Marco to get to this point where she says, like I said, I think you should drop him in a recycling tank. And then Marco says, are you speaking from experience? And then she just goes brilliant and says, well, Uncle Udom was a traditionalist. I'm sure I deserved it. I was going through a phase. And Marco says, this isn't a phase. She knows exactly what she's doing. She's getting Marco to the point where she recognizes this kid's, now, it's not that this kid's a problem because he's a bad person. He's a problem because his dad's an ass, right? And she does admit, the whole crew knows what's going on and they know the crap that he's been through. So, I mean, she just knows. I think you have what she say. I want what's best for him. He's my son. He's a part of me. And she goes, he's your son. Yeah, that's the definition.
Yeah, I know. Wasn't that good?
That was
yeah,
good.
that's
Do
a
not
he's,
need to convince
he's a
anyone.
part of you. That's the
Yeah.
definition of a son. Oh
And
my
all
God,
of a
she was
sudden, he's
good.
not worshiping the ground you walk on, and you don't know how to manage it. That's the
Yes.
problem. Is that he's never been in a situation where he has had to actually defend himself to his son, and he doesn't know what to do. And it drives me nuts because they're turning Philip into something that is just like a spoiled brat who I don't know.
Who kills millions of people.
But
Yeah, and his
it's-
own best friend. For somehow that one hurt
Yeah.
more for me. I don't
but
know. Like,
that I think it's because of what Naomi told him would happen. He's starting to-
Exactly.
I don't think he's really, well, he is a spoiled brat, but I think
He
it's
is.
because of all that guilt that he's starting to feel. He don't know how to deal with it either because his daddy don't know
Oh.
how to deal with his emotions.
mm-mm.
He's not
But
been taught
he
anything.
is
so
a
he's
spoiled brat because just like Marcos
out of jail.
acknowledges, he says,
got him out.
yeah, we go out drinking and having a sleep with somebody, a new person every night. But we got up the next day and got on the line because we didn't have nobody to bail us out.
Hey,
And I'm thinking,
yeah.
okay, while he's saying that, I'm thinking, but you the
You
one that
bailing him
did
out.
the shit. You
Yeah.
the one
Hey.
that keep bailing him out. He's
I-
not gonna learn anything. And there's going to be repercussions because that jailer wasn't happy.
But and I love that contradiction, right? I love the people who have pulled themselves up by the bootstraps to get out of a certain class into another class, spoil their kids. Sometimes they just spoil their kids, and then that contradiction, they don't understand their kids, and they say all that stuff. Man, walked in the snow
Yeah.
6 miles. They don't get that part
Make
of
'em
what
walk.
they're doing to their kids.
Exactly.
Is part of what they wanted to be able to do. Now I gotta tell you, I gotta finish this slow roll because she plays him out. She says he's your son. That's a definition. He says I love him, and she says that word means different things to different people. I'm sure my uncle
Yeah.
loved me in his own way. You love Philip, but that can mean you pity him, or you envy him, or you miss him. And he says, I need him. I need him to be the man he should be. And she says, are you planning on staying angry with him until then? I just,
that was good.
That's good.
script
She
was
says,
so tight because there was
I need you
always
to
a
focus.
smarter person in the room, just rolling the next one to the next place. And it's like drummer's conversation with that dude. Just keep rolling, keep rolling. Just
And my other
love it.
favorite line was right after that when she says, because I need you to be focused on this war. And he says, everybody here is scared of me. And she says, you're welcome.
You're welcome.
Like, okay,
Drop the mic.
whatever.
I tell you what, man,
I
that's
love that.
exactly who you want as your XO. That is exactly who you want as your
Yeah.
executive officer, to keep you out of yourself, pull you out of that crap, keep you on the mission. But you got to understand that to be able to write that. You know what I'm saying? And these writers just understand all these different chunks of human condition that they're trying to put out there. And that's just rare because, conversations like that are hard to come by in real life, let alone in the script. So, any other scenes, characters, lines, themes that we haven't discussed?
No, I think I would agree. I enjoyed watching Marco. I don't like what they're doing, but I do like that little couple that they have going on. The sexual tension between the two of them is worth it. One alone. And then two, just for her to kind of be like, man, you did this. You did all of this.
Yes.
And so you have to take accountability for all of it, the war, your son, all of it. And he's not able to do that. He's getting caught up on his ego that he sees in his son. And it's going to be what kind of brings him down. I think it's going to be the wedge that Holden finds.
I think Siri's station is going to be his downfall unless he gets back in his ship and goes and confronts like the UN, the Earth forces that's obviously going to come after him. Because I'm telling you, she was trying to tell him without, I guess, just calling him a stupid dummy. And that is, it's all over the station what his son did. And I would like to point out that regardless of what Marco says, that little bartender woman, she was right there. She saw the whole thing. Where's she at? Oh, she gonna tell the people. on series station what really happened.
Mhm.
And, you know, there's going to be this animosity thing slowly simmering. I'm telling you, that's going to be his downfall, I'm sure.
Because he's
Or
not offering up
maybe-
anything.
Right.
different.
They are not going to back him up like he thinks they're going to back him up.
Or maybe things are so bad for them that they will back him up regardless of all the stuff about him they don't like, which is not unlike some other stuff.
Well, I don't think so, because this is what I think might happen, and that is because, you know,
Yeah.
they like to portray the Earthers as having a little more empathy for other beings in the universe
Right.
than maybe some of the other the Belters or the Martians or whatever.
Mm.
So I would see that they would give the Belters on series an opportunity to
Right.
either stand down, surrender, or do something, or we'll blow you up. And
Yeah.
if that happens, they're not going to support Marco.
Yeah, well, I mean, because it's already been clear that the woman who ran series was like, no, we don't want to do that. Well, do it anyway. And she's going to know about all of Marcos's contradictions and you know.
Well, she was annoyed with him the first episode when she was trying to tell him about things, and he was like, boring. I don't wanna hear
Yeah,
it.
that's
I got
right.
rid of my
That's-
last guy because
People
he was
gotta
boring.
eat. Who knew?
No, you
I
don't
do
want.
know.
Go ahead.
No, go ahead.
You don't want to diss your staff officers, man. I mean, she's a staff officer. She's managing your food flow, your fuel flow. You treat her like a goddess.
People.
And if you're pissed at her, you say it in the back with no one else around.
Exactly.
You do not embarrass people like that. You just don't. Because if you do, it indicates you don't know what you're doing,
Mhm.
which is
I don't
what they're
think he
writing this
does.
for.
Yeah, I don't think he
Yeah.
does. He's just so arrogant. He doesn't
Well,
care
and
about the other
I
people.
don't think he really likes all the other stuff. He wants to be fighting. He wants to be out there fighting.
No, he wants to be adored and fawned
True.
over.
Dude hates
True.
spreadsheets, man. That's all there is to it. He's not a spreadsheet guy.
So that's why he's gonna have his, CO do it.
Yes. And that's fine. The thing is, he's a crappy leader because he has zero empathy. I mean, he really never empathizes with the plight of anyone at an individual level. It's all this large scale belter glory. And that's all he ever really, gives anyone.
Yeah, but think of a personality who was going to use your infant child to
Yeah.
coerce the mother of that child into doing what you want. And she has to leave her infant child to get away from your butt
Right.
in order to, no, he's not going to have no empathy.
No, I think the writers might be talking to us again, right, about where we're living now in terms of, narcissism and leaders and such. And no,
There's
it's
a lot of
fantastic.
that going around.
A lot of it. Any other scenes, lines, characters, phrases, themes? So that about wraps it up for tonight's episode. Thanks so much for tuning in. Expanse Crew members, please tell the audience where they can find you on social media. And we'll start with Leandra.
Hey, I'm Leandra. You can find me on Twitter at Paris Leandra, at Parris Leandra.
Excellent. How about you, Sistah Jay?
Oh,
I put you on the spot today, right? You don't get to say with a
wait a minute.
with a
I-
J.
You can wait a minute. You can find me wherever you can find Sistah Kay.
Okay, so the pressure's on you, Sistah Kay.
We're at sistahspeakproductions.com,
There you go.
Facebook, Twitter, _Sistah in our letters, J or K, A or LM. We have 2 other sisters. Instagram, Twitter, all of just type in Sistah Speak and you'll find us somewhere.
Exactly. Fantastic. You can find me on Twitter at @dark_loops. You can find all episodes of the Expanse Crew at the Dark Loops Productions channel on YouTube. If you'd like to leave feedback on this podcast, please leave it below on this YouTube page or send a message to darkloopsproductions@gmail.com, and we'll be sure to read it at the end of our next episode. So there it is from all of us to all of you. Big hugs. Thank you so much for tuning in. We'll see you next time. Bye-bye.